Friday, celebrating everything about the water, being on the water, in the water. So we've decided to do some fish and seafood recipes today. And I think of our chef Andy, who loved fish, actually opened a fish business early on with my sister Nancy in Kalamazoo, and loved to. He used to buy fish for restaurants in New York City when they originally lived there, and had Teddy and Sam. He told great stories about wearing this fish coat on the subway, hauling a lot of cash around to buy fish from fishermen coming in New York City. So anyways, back to our program. What I'm going to do is a garlic seared scallop dish with a watermelon salsa. So we've got some scallops here. I'm going to use the garlic oil to sear. And we can't have enough garlic, so I've got some garlic that we're going to mince, salt, pepper, and then some red pepper flakes. We're going to put that on some rice that we've made, and then we're going to put this salsa together that's watermelon based. We've got shallots. We'll dice up the shallots, jalapeno, pepper without the seeds, cilantro, and a couple squirts of lime juice, plus the very famous ginger and honey balsamic vinegar. So it should be a nice dish, really easy to make and tasty. So we'll start putting this together while Denise is showing you her recipe. And with that, I'll turn it over to Denise in Holland.
Hi, Jim. Thanks. And I love that fish coat story that Andy always told. It was one of my favorites. So I'm going to make a Parmesan crusted salmon. And this is a kind of a take from a restaurant down in Florida that I just love. Every time I went to go visit my family, we would go to Lever Rocks, which is south of Venice. And I've asked them several times for the recipe, never would give it to me. So this is kind of my interpretation, my version. So I'll see if you like it as well. So I just have a fillet of salmon, and I've got some oil in the pan underneath it. And I'm just going to lightly drizzle a little bit of the Sicilian lemon on it. And then I'm going to take some of our new mustard with horseradish in it. And I'm going to put that, just spread that on top. So that's just going to help the crust stick better to the salmon. And then for the actual crust of it, we're just going to toss together some panko crumbs. This, I think, is part of the secret. It's actually fried onions that I've just kind of chopped up loosely. And, of course, some Parmesan. So let's grate some of that. Alrighty. And then we're going to add a little salt and pepper. And then I obviously love this organic Tuscan seasoning. So we're going to toss a little of that in there, and then a little more olive oil. Now, I know the recipe called for Tuscan herb, but I don't have any Tuscan herb. So today I'm using the Herbs de Provence, which is just a nice, light, herby olive oil. So we're just going to mix this all together. And we're just going to put it on here, on our salmon. And then I like to just pat it down a little because I like a lot. especially those crusted onions. Alrighty. So this is how simple it is. Now it's just going to go in the oven for about 12-15 minutes at 400. And then, Jim, when you're done, we'll pull this out. And I've got one more fun recipe to do.
Okay, here we go. So I've got the garlic olive oil in here, heating up. You know, in another day, this would be butter, but we're just not gigantic fans of butter around here, if you know what I mean. Can't get enough garlic flavors, so we're going to put the garlic in here. We've got some red pepper flakes. And we have some salt and pepper right there. Okay. So we're going to heat this up. We got some ingredients specifically from our garden here, specifically the cilantro. So I'm excited to try that in our watermelon salsa. The girls have been growing this garden now for, geez, I think it's been about 6 weeks. And it is the first order of business every morning is to go out to our garden and see, see what's developed out there overnight. It's pretty exciting. Keep the varmints away and see the plants, and now the vegetables coming. They've got jalapeno, tomatoes, cilantro. What else? Lettuce,
mint, basil, carrots,
so
radish.
It's really, really fun. Okay, so we've got this guy going, and I'm going to drop in now our beautiful, whoa. We're going to sear these guys, so you can see it's pretty hot. There are 3 of us that are going to enjoy this today. So we'll each have 4 scallops. Get these started, and then we'll go over and dump and stir the salsa up. It actually works out a little better if you do this to do the salsa. There you go. To do the salsa first, that way all the flavors in the salsa can kind of marinate into the watermelon. So we got that going. Let's go over and, as Denise likes to call it, dump and stir our salsa. So we'll start with our watermelon, a 1.5 cups of watermelon, seedless. We pulled the seeds out of these beautiful jalapenos. Diced shallots, our homegrown cilantro chopped up. And then we'll put a little lime juice, and then of course the coup de grace, the honey, ginger and honey balsamic vinegar. Might be a little oversized lime press. What do you think? But in my times in Mexico, I've learned the smaller the lime, the better and the sweeter. So we always try to get small limes. And just 1, maximum 2 squeezes, boom, boom. You go more than 2 squeezes in the lime press. Well, Just do boom, boom. Get more than 2 squeezes, you might be pulling rind out of the lime. So we've got this. We'll mix this up. Get some of this beautiful ginger honey. We're both here as my sous chefs today and producers. That'll give it a nice sharper flavor. Mix that up, let it sit and marinate, and then we'll put the scallops on some rice, and then top it with this beautiful watermelon salsa. So that's it for now. Back to Denise, and when we come back here, we'll have these scallops ready to plate.
Thanks, Jim. So I also have a very easy dumpling stir, and we'll put this together, and then I think my salmon in the oven will be done, and I can take out and show you that. So this in my mixer, I have a pound of cream cheese, and to that, I'm going to add 1/4 cup of sour cream and 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. And then I've got 2 shallots finely diced. And this is the smoked whitefish dip. And one of Andy's recipes, and he would always smoke his own fish and bring it in an actual whitefish. But I have salmon that I found at the grocery store already smoked, so we're going to use that. So we've got our shallot, and then finely diced red pepper. And then what else? We got 3 stalks of celery, finely chopped up. Get that going. And then we've got some green onions, thinly sliced. Lots of color. And then it also calls for Old Bay, and I didn't look for that. I couldn't find it when I made my crab cakes, so we're just going to use a little bit of Tuscan seasoning. And then we also need a splash of the Herbs de Provence. Again, I think the recipe calls for the Tuscan herb, but we're using that today. And then a splash of the Sicilian lemon. And I'm going to mix all this for just a minute. And then this is just some smoked salmon. So feel free to find, whatever works for you. This is already smoked and packaged. You just take the skin off and it's ready to go. So we're going to add this in. I've taken the skin and that gray part off, so it's just the bright salmon. And we're just going to mix this on low for about 30 seconds. Now, it probably does take a little bit longer for this recipe to come together just because of all the chopping, but that was my project after lunch today. So, super easy. So there it is, all mixed. And we have friends coming over tonight. We're going to have just sit out on our patio. So this is going to be delicious out there on a nice summer evening. So this is something you can serve with crackers, or if you've made crostini. we're just going to put that in there. And then what I'm going to do is just give it a little tiny splash of Sicilian lemon, just to give it more of a zip. So there is that all ready to go. And I think my salmon is done. And so here is my Parmesan onion crusted salmon. You could have it with a little tartar sauce. It's going to have some zip because that mustard has horseradish in it. So it already has a little zippiness to it. I would just drizzle a little olive oil around it, maybe a squirt of lemon, and be good to go. That's what I have today, Jim.
Oh my gosh, that berry is one lucky dude. That looks beautiful, Denise. Really nice. We've done a couple different salmons now on these Fridays with Fustinis. My maple sriracha on the grill salmon. We should put that one up against this one. That looked really good. So now we've got our scallops done. We've seared them. I'm going to put 4 of these on the saffron rice. And by the way, you can, a nice little flavoring of the rice can be with the balsamic. So in this case, we put just stirred in a little bit of the ginger and honey balsamic. So a little tip there. And we're going to go over here. And here is that watermelon salsa with the jalapeno, the cilantro, the ginger and honey balsamic, and a couple squeezes of lime. So doesn't that look beautiful? That's what we've got as a dish to eat, the 3 of us, although each of us is going to have a dish like that right after the show. So that was fun. Again, super, super simple and easy, but great flavor. Yeah, really nice flavor. So you can find all of these products online at a discount for the next week. We'll be back on next Friday. Next Friday, we've got some new products we're going to show you we're pretty darn excited about. So check with us on Facebook throughout the week for news and teases on these new products we're launching next Friday. Food gatherers, another pitch for food gatherers in Ann Arbor. We're running a fundraising program. We're matching every donation you make on Facebook to food gatherers. We'll do a match. We're also donating $1 for every bottle you buy at the Ann Arbor store. They are putting together boxes of breakfast and lunch or bags for kids to pick up at so they're delivering to the pantries. 7 breakfasts, 7 lunches for these kids to pick up at the pantries. They're doing very important work. As I've said before, they're seeing a 30 to 300% increase in need in the pantries in Washtenaw County. So please help us help them with a purchase at the store or a donation online. I think that does it for today. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.